Good morning, LKN. 7:34. Happy Thursday to you. Look, the last thing you want is to wake up one day and you go to click on either the furnace or the air and you say, wait a second, nothing's coming out of the vents. Why is nothing coming out of the vents? You need somebody you can call who we recommend, Horne HVAC, H-O-R-N-E, HVAC, hornehvac.com. That's H-O-R-N-E, HVAC.com. Jason joins us this morning. He is the service team lead at Horne Heating and Air Conditioning. Thanks for being here this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Are you a morning guy naturally, or do you have to like pep yourself up in the morning before you hit the road to go like on service calls?
I'm a morning guy by nature. Big time bass fisherman, so I get up early.
Oh, yeah.
That is early mornings, yeah.
Is fishing better in the mornings or in the evenings? Because can't you do both, or no?
You can, but it's better in my opinion. It's better in the morning.
Okay.
Are you one of those serious guys I see out in the wintertime on the lake?
Oh yeah,
That's you? Oh man, that's tough. But yeah, you're a tough guy.
All right, Jason, as service team lead, talk to us about what that means. So you are, is it quality control for service, or what is it that you do, and how would you describe your day-to-day with Horne HVAC?
my day-to-day's kind of a mixed bag. I help with the training. I help with the technical support with the technicians in the field. Also help with hiring. Just whatever they need me to do on a day-to-day. It's never one day's the same. That's why I've kept coming back to HVAC for 25 years.
Now, the service, the continuous reviews we hear about Horne is that the service is top-notch. And so what it's caused is arguably a good problem. Horne is growing. I mean, you guys are getting more and more and more calls, more and more jobs to help, more homes to help service. But that means that you guys need more people to help. And so you guys have been actively looking for more service techs in the HVAC industry. So if someone came in and let's say they became a new service tech, would they be working with you on a lot of bases throughout their day-to-day?
Yeah, so they'll be working with me and TM, and we have another team lead, Tony. So you'll be working directly with us three. Just it's a pretty large onboarding process when you do come aboard, because we don't want to throw somebody in there and set them up for failure. We believe in setting somebody up for success. So you would come in and pretty much go through about 8 weeks of training, learning how to use our software, learning how to do our processes and our procedures, and it would make your day-to-day job much easier.
Now, Jason, if I walked in the door, let me tell you, I've got probably negative experience as it relates to working with any type of mechanical stuff. Would you guys hire me? Like, is that like, can I be like somebody who has zero experience whatsoever? Or are you looking for folks like you got to have some level of training before you come in the door?
Not necessarily. We do partner with some like Goodwill Industries, the Urban League, a couple other, trade schools. That does help because those trade schools help the technicians get their universal EPA license so they can deal with the day-to-day refrigerants and things like that. So that does help. But you can come and do a ride along with me anytime you like.
There you go. Please don't let him touch anything. It's called a ride along. You just ride along.
Jason, what's this wire
No,
do?
don't touch it. Don't touch it.
You mentioned the EPA standards. Refrigerant has been a conversation for quite some time. If I called you guys, I said, "Hey, I need me some more R22." Are you guys going to bring that out, or would I be kind of more so need to be looking at a new unit at this point? Would you say?
We'll be more than happy to bring it out. Just have to get your big boy pocketbook out because it's gotten extremely expensive and hard to get.
And so what is the standard? Now, give us the update. What is currently the status of refrigerant, and it relates to mechanical and HVACs?
So, refrigerant's changed. They've went to different manufacturers. They've went to 2 different refrigerants. Some of your Trane, Lennox, some of those manufacturers have went to 454B, and then some others have went to a R32. So what's happening, they're worried about global warming potential, just wanting the Earth to be here for all of our kids. That's the biggest change. R32 it's been around for years. They've been using it overseas for years, so it's nothing new. Nothing really going to change for the homeowner. It's just a change in the industry.
And so that deals with the unit itself and like basically the cooling refrigerant it can use, right, to produce the cold air. Is that kind of how that works? Okay. Do you guys have a preference, or do you guys say, hey, this is what we see as far as what the data shows us is to utilize between those two options? Does the homeowner even care most of the time? They just probably want cold air, if I had to guess.
Yeah, they don't seem to care that much. We do want to do what's best for our homeowner. So if the new refrigerant's out there and readily available, that's probably what we need to be putting in.
I would imagine too, like it's one thing like the unit goes out, I know I need somebody. But if someone had their unit serviced, let's say regularly, does that help you think like with the process? Because then you're probably not surprised or things like that. How much do you guys emphasize servicing units, even if it's a brand new unit or only a couple years old?
So, I can't stress the importance of regular routine maintenance. And the way I talk about that to homeowners, because I try to break it down to where they understand and I don't get too technical, is you go buy a new BMW, you're not going to not take your BMW in to get it serviced. Heating and air conditioning is the most expensive appliance you're going to put in your home, bar none. Hopefully you don't have to do but 2 in your lifetime, or maybe 3. If you're lucky, 4.
That means you live longer, not your unit.
Yeah. But speaking on maintenance, we've got some customers. It's getting fewer now. Horne's been around for 40 years. We've got some customers that's got some 1989 model equipment. The reason that's been there for so long is just routine maintenance, keeping it clean. I think one study showed 1/10 of an inch, which is the thickness of a business card, affects the efficiency of a piece of equipment by 30%.
Wow.
So your power bills are going up and things like that. You may want to look at your air conditioner, how much dirt is on it. So that's the number one failure in heating and air conditioning is dirt.
So would it be like monthly or annual, or how often do you recommend that somebody gets their unit serviced?
Twice a year.
Okay.
Once for your wintertime maintenance, then your spring maintenance, getting it ready for summer. I mean, the most aggravating thing in the world would be to have a cookout over at your house July the 4th, and then your air conditioner go out.
There's no worse feeling than walking into a hot or a cold house. Yeah.
Y'all got to stay outside.
Yep.
That's what I started saying.
Yeah. Those fans don't work in the North Carolina heat. You can't run a box fan and cool you off.
Jason, for those that might be looking for work, right? They might be service techs. Maybe they even have some experience, and maybe they like the idea of switching outfits because they want to find a good one, right? They want to work with people that enjoy their job, and it's tough work. You guys do real work. I'm not crawling in crawl spaces, climbing in attics, banging my head on framing and all that kind of stuff, and having to run all kinds of duct work and all kinds of things throughout the day, wiring, pulling through, dealing with people's cats when you leave the door open and stuff like that. I'm not dealing with that every single day. But you've been with Horne over 11 years now. Why Horne? What makes Horne so great of a place to work at?
I would say it starts with the two owners, John and Chris Horne. On a personal level, I've never found, two individuals that have, quite touched me in the way they have. They're just awesome people, down to earth. I would recommend everybody to come to work for those two. They're great people.
And you mentioned the training, because training has got to be continuous, I would imagine. Is that would you say one of the highest priorities is to make sure that you as a service tech, the team of service techs, is in the know with what, the current industry standards are, processes, systems? I mean, how much emphasis is on training on people's day-to-day?
It's very heavy. So like I said, you come in, you got about an 8-week onboarding process. So you'll be with me, you'll be with Tim, Tony. Some of that classroom stuff may even consist with talking with Mr. Horne or Chris or John. And some of it's going to be just those processes. I keep saying processes. Those are extremely important to us. And then you're going to get into the technical parts of it, and get out in the field with some of the actual technicians, whether it be me or Tony Herron or just some of our other technicians we have. We're blessed. The technicians we do have are great technicians.
HorneHVAC.com, HORNE HVAC.com.
Keep it right here. Justin, Bill, and Mamie will be right back with more Good Morning LKN on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC. Local starts here.